Who am I? I am filled with feeling with life and breath. I am here to share, honor, and love. I am the vivid colors of day, the black darkness as night falls. I am the whispering wind stirring the leaves. I am the cool water flowing through. I am the blood-rooted earth. I am fire burning eternal. I am the glint of light in a distant star. I am the answer to the question, who am I? Invocation by Jessica Lee Henry, creator of the Lion's Gateway Tarot. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be unboxing the new 3rd edition of the Lion's Gateway Tarot by artist Jessica Lee Henry. So this is a 3rd edition of this deck, a 3rd printing. There have been changes, and you can see included with this Kickstarter campaign is beautiful original artwork. It seems to be on parchment paper. Very, very cool. Now, per the description for this deck, the Lion's Gateway Tarot leads directly to the heart with expressive colors, iconic imagery, and a strong emphasis on traditional symbolism. The primitive wood-burned images will evoke the quintessential energies of the tarot, providing both expert and novice easy access to the mysteries of the tarot divination. And yes, look at these gorgeous backs. And the deck has beautiful gold gilding. Now the cardstock is 350 GSM, a matte cardstock, and measuring it up next to my Yellow Box RWS Classic deck, it is the exact same size. So if you have smaller hands like I do, you should be able to manage shuffling with this deck. Now, why don't we take a closer look and do a musical flip through of the cards, and I will meet you on the other side. I hope you enjoyed that musical flip through of the Lion's Gateway Tarot. Now I'm just going to flip through the cards again while I talk and give you just a little bit of a backstory on how I found this deck. Now, first of all, I have to say that I'm quite amazed that this deck hasn't gotten a little bit more love in TarotTube, and I was totally unaware of this deck, even though it is totally in my wheelhouse. And that could account, you know, we all like different things, but I first became aware of this deck a few months ago on Sarah's channel, Sunset Bow, and she was doing, I stumbled across her video from about 2 years ago, her unboxing of this deck, which I believe is the first iteration that she had. She backed the Kickstarter, and this is the 3rd edition, and there's quite a bit of differences in size. Now in Sarah's video, her edition was much larger. It was a much larger tarot card. The backs were yellow. They were gilded like these, and I think that the box was definitely different, and then the cover of the book. I think the cover of the guidebook was blue as opposed to the white it is now. And I think the box was blue as well. Still a 2-piece box as we have now. And talk about synchronicity. When I stumbled across Sarah's video and I was totally excited about the deck, I was going, oh my gosh, I need to look up this deck. I discovered that it was in the midst of its 3rd Kickstarter. So she was doing, she put her 3rd edition on Kickstarter right at the perfect time, and I just had a few days to back it, and I did. And I'm so happy. Now, from what I understand, the 2nd edition is different because the cards, okay, the 1st edition, it was larger, and then the 2nd edition, I think the cards were about this size, standard tarot size. But the backs were a more brownish russet color with gold, and it didn't have any gilding. So the creator has changed. I don't believe she's changed the artwork, but you know, the backs and the color of the box and the books and gilding, no gilding, that has evolved in the 3 editions. I'm quite happy with this edition. I don't feel like I need to get, you know, all the editions. I think this is quite nice right now. Now, as you can tell on the artwork is just simple line drawings that are wood burned, and then it's colored in with oil painting. That is my understanding. And I love, between the suits, you'll notice a slight difference in coloration. Now, what I notice is the difference in the blues. For instance, in the wands, it's, you know, a quite vibrant blue. And then when you go to the suit of swords, it's more of a dark grayish blue. And then with cups, it's a lighter, more pastel blue. That's where I notice the difference, but you'll notice other colorations between the suits, and it kind of, you know, fits the aesthetic of each suit, and I really love that. Now, this deck gives me the vibes of old world, old European art, and I love that. That's something I love. I think this deck is fantastic for beginners and advanced or professional readers alike. And I'll tell you why. This deck follows so closely to the RWS system. If you're a beginner, and again, if you don't, Pixie's art doesn't resonate with you, you know, a classic RWS deck doesn't resonate with you, something like this might, and the imagery sticks very closely, you know, to the original RWS deck, to where if you were studying with a book that had the RWS, artwork in it, you can easily translate that to the imagery in this deck. And I love this Three of Cups. I think it's so beautiful. Now, also a deck like this that follows so closely to the RWS imagery would be perfect if you're a professional reader and you do event readings, or if you just read for, a lot of other people. This is a deck where you can get all your intuitive hits very, very quickly. There's nothing jarring in the imagery, nothing controversial, nothing that's scary or, could be deemed kind of scary for somebody who's getting a reading for the first time. You could take this deck, it would be perfect for a Renaissance fair or a costume party or, any kind of reading. And this is just perfect for that. So in that vein, I don't know why this deck hasn't gotten more love. So the creator, as far as availability, I went and looked on the Kickstarter, and sometimes when Kickstarters finish, you notice that they'll have a page and a link where you can pre-order it on their Etsy store or their website, and I haven't found that. I know that the Kickstarter campaign, I think, was backed by maybe 100 people, and I think she was aiming to print 800 decks. So I don't know where that is. So I haven't been able, doing a quick search, I haven't been able to find it on Etsy, but I will leave a link if I find any information. I will leave it in the description box below. And you can see here is what I'm talking about with the swords and the blues and the grays. It's darker. And even though this is a more vibrant blue, it's darker for the swords. So I do like that. So yes, I think this is a fantastic deck. And looking into my crystal ball, I think I'm going to have no problem reading with this deck. And I think it's going to become a favorite. And right now, we're going to take a quick look at the guidebook. Okay, very rudimentary guidebook. It's very thin. It's just going to have your basic information in it. And I have to say that this artwork right here reminds me of the Ember and Aura Tarot, which I love. With the white background in the art, it's very, very similar, but I love it. So we have, it's just going to be black and white. And we have that beautiful poem that I read at the beginning by the creator. I think it's wonderful. So there is an index, and you're going to get the poem. So it's an opening invocation. Working with the tarot, honing your intuition, tarot basics, and then you go into the cards, and there are some spreads in an artist's bio. And she does have a page here for the numerology. If you read your cards in a numerological manner, here it is. And here you just get keywords. So we're into the major arcana. And it starts with the Magician. So you get keywords for upright and reverse. Now I'm curious here about where the Fool lies. Is the Fool at the end? Okay, the Fool is at the end. And I do remember that about the first edition of the deck. I think the Fool was numbered at 22. So that's another difference between the decks. So here we have it at the end, but it is numbered at 0 in this deck. So, however you choose to read your cards. Now for the minors, again, you just get upright and reversed keywords or a sentence. So as far as spreads, we get your standard 1 card and your 3 card spread and your Celtic cross spread. So I think right now I want to show you a few decks in my collection that I think, in some way, shape, or form have kind of the same feel, same aesthetic in certain aspects to this deck. We all have our favorite decks that we gravitate towards, and I think you'll be able to see why I gravitated towards this one. I'll be right back. So here I have 3 decks that in some way, shape, or form kind of fits the feeling of the Lion's Gateway Tarot. So if you have any of these 3, you may feel that you don't need, you know, to acquire the Lion's Gateway, but if you love the aesthetic of it or of these decks, you know, it might be something you may want to get in the future. So what I have here is the old out of print vintage from the year 2000 Nigel Jackson Tarot, which you can still find on eBay. I also have my beloved Hudes Tarot and the newer Wandering Star Tarot deck by Cat Pierce. This is the India version, and I think in a month or so the mass market edition is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order that on Amazon. And I just acquired this Nigel Jackson from Half Price Books, and I was going to do a separate video, but I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek here. Yeah, I was very excited to acquire this. All right, so here I have the Nigel Jackson Tarot. Here is the Lion's Gateway, here is the Wandering Star, and here is the Hudes Tarot. Now, I believe that the original Lion's Gateway Tarot was more along the size of the Nigel Jackson Tarot that I have here. Just for information, if you watch Sarah's video, which I'll leave a link to in the description box, you will see that the original Lion's Gateway Tarot was more this size, if not this exact size. Okay? And I will point out this new, the Wandering Star Tarot. If you have it, well, you'll know what the cardstock is like for the Lion's Gateway. It's the exact same 350 GSM. These are both gilded decks, so very similar aesthetic. Okay. Now, you're going to see that the Nigel Jackson and the Hudes Tarot have an old world feeling, and that's why I pulled them out. But the Wandering Star, for some reason, maybe it's the drawings, the line drawings, maybe it's the bold color palette, but it also has kind of a folk art feeling that you get from the Lion's Gateway Tarot. So these two are kind of similar with the folk art, and the Nigel Jackson and Hudes Tarot are kind of similar with the old world kind of feeling and aesthetic, if you can see. And I'll just flip through a few cards, and so you can kind of see why I gravitated towards the Lion's Gateway. So bold color palettes, old world feeling, you know, it's kind of what I like. Yeah, you can see right here. Yeah, the cardstock and the, you know, even the thin borders, you can see very similar aesthetic. They're both edged, same cardstock, but these two kind of have the old world feeling. Even the colors in these two are very similar for the Emperor. But look at the differences for the Hierophant, especially with the Wandering Star. Now for the Lovers, we get kind of a more traditional depiction here with the Lion's Gateway and the Hudes Tarot with the third person, whereas we only have the two people in the Wandering Star and the Nigel Jackson, but we've got the angel here and here. So that's a little bit interesting. And you can see the differences in the Chariot. Here, bold color, and here you've got watercolor. It looks like watercolor in both of these, but I'm not an artist. I don't know. And here's a look at the strength cards. So yeah, you can kind of tell why I gravitated toward this deck and felt that I had to have it. And it it hasn't disappointed me. I am able to read with these two decks with no problem. Very, very easy readers for me. This one is new to my collection, so I haven't really had time to use it. So, you know, but again, looking into my crystal ball, I don't think I'd have a hard time reading with this. So yes, they're kind of the same, but different. I would love to hear your opinions on this deck. Do you have it? Do you have the first or second edition? Did you back this third edition? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I will let you know the availability. If I have any information, if I can find any information, I will leave it down in the description box below. Again, I think this is a fabulous deck for beginners, advanced, professionals alike, for the reasons I mentioned in the video. So thank you so much for spending your time with me, and with that, I will leave you to get on with your beautiful day. Bye for now.